Hello everyone, my name is Larseth and welcome to the Dev Diary for 13th of December 2016. So this, I guess, actually is the last one that contains a huge amount of information about new gameplay mechanics. Is the next one, which, sneak peek, is about art, for the most part. So this one, in the last Dev Diary, at the bottom they sort of teased about the biggest feature added to the game since the start of EU4. And, for most companies, I think that'd be quite a bold claim. But for Paradox, they've lived up for it because this looks absolutely amazing. And just looks like, one thing people always complain about with EU4 is that there was never enough stuff to do when you're at peace. And they've slowly added numerous things you could do while you're at peace. Like an example, is like the spy network connections, making trade a bit bigger and various other diplomatic things and like estate systems and all bits and pieces. But this is just, a step above, I guess. So I'll stop sort of yakking on about and actually explain what it is. So what they've done is separated the game time up into 4 separate ages, which you can see here. An age is essentially a period, such as Age of Discovery, which has specific objectives, themes associated with it. So Age of Discovery, as you could probably guess from the name, is to do with, discovering new lands. It'll be like colonizing the new world and stuff like that. So basically what you do in these ages is you have 7 objectives. No, sorry, not 7 objectives. There are numerous objectives which you can complete. You can see an example here. This is what the Age of the Discovery looks like thus far. So you have 7 objectives which you can complete. And when you complete objectives, you get +3 power projection, which just works as standard. Which is obviously really good, especially if you're small. Like some countries really discover to actually, some countries really struggle to get power projection. And you also gain something called Splendor. So what Splendor is a currency which is specific to each age, so you'll lose it when you go into the next age. But it allows you to buy abilities. So I believe these are the abilities here. So there are 7 of them per country, and then 4 unique ones per age. So these unique abilities, I'm not sure which ones they are, or maybe those are the ages. So it must be 4 unique abilities. They are aimed at sort of the nations which would be historically powerful at those times. So in the Age of Discovery, I imagine there would be an ability aimed towards maybe the Portuguese. Actually, I think that's the Castilian, or is that, no, that's the Portuguese flag right there. That looks like Venice, that's Ottomans, and that one is, that's not Savoy, is it? Or Switzerland? I can't remember. Oh no, sorry, it's Denmark. Of course it is. There we go. Please don't be mad, any Danish people who are watching. So yeah, basically you use the Splendor to buy abilities, which benefit you for the rest of that age. So when a new age rolls around, you basically lose all the abilities and all of the Splendor, which you have from completing objectives. The Splendor disappears from completing objectives, and the power projection starts to decay, so it doesn't go away straight away, which is good. So all of these things will be obviously different for each age. And on top of all of this is another sort of feature, which is sort of combined with it, I guess, called golden eras. So what golden eras are basically, if anyone's played Civ, you'll know what sort of a golden era is in that game. Is basically like a period whereby your country gets loads of buffs, essentially. Now, the difference between EU4 and Civ is in EU4, you can only activate this once per game, and you are able to activate it once you have completed 3 of your objectives in an age. So if I'm Spain or Portugal, for example, I might want to, Age of Discovery, go absolutely as nuts as possible, start my golden era, sorry, and just try and dominate it and, be really successful during that era. Or maybe, what are the other ones? Age of Revolutions. Maybe if I'm France and I go Revolutionary France, I might want to go nuts as them during there. Or maybe Age of Reformation. Maybe I want to do that as Austria, maybe, if I'm trying to make sure that the Reformation fails. Who knows? So Golden Age gives you, as it says down here, 10% cheaper costs for anything you spend Monarch power on. So that is a pretty big buff. So tech is cheaper, development is cheaper. What else would be cheaper? God, I'm sure loads of other things. Would it apply to ideas, obviously. Maybe events where you have to spend Monarch power, that would work. Land and naval morale plus 10%. And 10% more goods. So that's a pretty nice buff across the board, to be honest. And that lasts for 50 years. So picking when you want to use that would be presumably really important to a playthrough. So if you pick it at the wrong time, you might end up getting, beaten by one of your rivals for a certain thing. So maybe if you're colonizing and somebody beats you to a golden era, maybe they will be able to, support more colonists and colonize ahead of you. Maybe they'll finish their exploration and expansion ideas before you because they have a discount on Monarch power spending. Who knows? So there's an example here of some of the abilities. So this is for the Age of Discovery. It was Ottomans, Portugal, Denmark, and Venice. So these are the 4 ones that are specific to that age and certain nations. So Portugal, plus 50 colonial growth. It's pretty good. These are the ones which be available to everyone else. So that is, especially the 50% longer lasting claims. That's good. Yeah, I think these are really, really good, personally. I can totally understand where they were coming from when they felt it was the best sort of expansion feature they've ever made, because it obviously doesn't fundamentally change the game, but it goes in that direction pretty significantly. It's a really exciting change that adds a lot of variation. I don't know whether these objectives change, or whether they are same for every playthrough. So I don't know whether, hypothetically, I complete some of these, are they replaced by other ones, like, in the case of missions, or I don't know. Or maybe there's the same bunch every time. I honestly have no idea. So that'd be interesting to find out. I'm fairly certain it doesn't say. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this dev diary. And for those of you who, for whatever reason, won't be getting the new patch, maybe you can't afford it or whatever, the free patch won't contain this by the looks of it. But it will, you won't be able to do any of this, but it will keep track of what age the game is in for, events and stuff like that. So you won't actually be able to participate in any of this, but presumably it might just say Age of Discovery or whatever up there. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this EU4 Dev Diary. The next one, I believe, is just related to art. So what I will... Actually, let's have a quick read through it now. Yeah, so actually this is almost a wrap-up of the year for EU4. So it's got a few bits, presumably down here. This is essentially, it's an end of year sort of wrap-up saying this is what we've achieved, thank you for the feedback. And the small teaser for next year, I have no idea what this could be, other than, specific art for, well, naval art for certain East Asian countries, I'm guessing. So yeah, I won't do one on this actually because there's not enough content to do anything here. Really, it's sort of it speaks for itself. So I will end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you in the next one, which probably won't be until the new year. Purely because, as it says here, some of them are going on holiday, which I'm sure they are well deserving of. So yeah, I will speak to all of you in the next one. Take care.